Well, it's time for us to get started, and he's here, Daddy Roro, looking resplendent in his black attire, ready to say goodbye to the great man, Kofi Annan.
Well, good morning to you, and how are you?
Not bad at all. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I was feeling a bit under the weather yesterday, but
for some reason I can't quite spot you. There you are. Right. So you were saying?
Yeah, I was feeling a bit under the weather yesterday. So.
I know, we missed you a lot.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah. But we have to start the latest news headline. Do you have more information on Menzgold?
That's right. Well, you know, the gold dealing company Menzgold has defied a directive by the Securities and Exchanges Commission. Well, they have been defying that directive throughout yesterday. The directive was for them to suspend their gold trading operations with the public, arguing, of course, Menzgold, that the Commission does not have the authority to regulate their operations. This came after the Commission earlier on Wednesday asked Menzgold to cease trading. They actually asked them to do that on the 7th of September. Saying that their business module of buying gold and subsequently advancing interest to investors in Ghana was in breach of their license agreement. But in a swift rebuttal, the company said that their operations do not fall within the purview of the Securities and Exchanges Commission regulatory regime. Now, there's a news desk report to that effect. Right after that, we'll give you the very latest, because Menzgold, just this morning, a few minutes ago, have released a statement.
Its letter to Menzgold, the Securities and Exchange Commission said the company had been dealing in the purchase and deposit of gold collectibles from the public and issuing contracts with guaranteed returns with clients without a valid license from the Commission. This, the SEC says, is in contravention of Section 109 of Act 929 with consequences under Section 2016I of the same Act. The company was, however, cleared to continue its other businesses of assaying, purchasing gold from small-scale miners, and export of gold. The directive led to what some have described as panic withdrawals by some customers when JoyNews visited the company's East Legon office following the Commission's directive. A long queue was visible from the company's gates right to their main office. JoyNews learns some frustrated customers who had come to withdraw their deposits had to be restrained by officials of the company after they were asked to return later for their monies. But reactions by customers to the Securities and Exchange Commission's letter to Menzgold have been mixed. One customer we spoke to said he would withdraw all his deposits.
I invested with Menzgold 1 year now, and when I heard of the percentage they were giving, it looks mouth-watering. So I had to make that bold decision, and then take my money from wherever it was to their company. And truly, when I brought my money, per the agreement we signed, they have fulfilled it so far. But I think last month or so, when the notice came from Bank of Ghana that they should close down, in fact, I panicked a little. So I decided to terminate my contract.
And how much do you have invested there?
I have 100,000. So I take 10%, that is 10,000. Today, one of my contracts is ending. That's about 52,000. And then I had another 40,000. That one I'm terminating. They said if you terminate your contract, they will take 25%. So I'm ready to let go of the 25%. That is 10,000. So I'm taking 30,000. But I had already taken 30,000 last month.
But not everyone is withdrawing their monies from the company in spite of the Commission's directive. Another customer JoyNews spoke to was of the view Menzgold was not being treated right by the regulatory agencies.
I've been saving with Menzgold for almost over 3 years now. Generally, it has been fair, and transaction has been good for the past almost 3 years. The only challenge that we've have experienced with regards to Menzgold, as far as Menzgold is concerned, is just a couple of weeks ago when they decided to enroll onto the banking system, whereby our interest will be transferred into our various accounts, so that we don't need to come here or walk into their premises to pick up the interest.
If I may ask, how much did you deposit?
Within 3 years, I've deposited almost about 300,000. The information going on social media that Menzgold is an illegal and no one should trade with them. These issues came up 2 years ago, or let me see, 2 years ago, and the same issue is persisting. But if really they were doing illegal business, they should have been closed down by now. They should rather help them go through the right processes so that they can really stand on their feet.
Officials of Menzgold declined to comment when approached by JoyNews, only saying they were in talks with their lawyers on the matter.
Now, the very latest on this story is that Menzgold has released a statement. I'll read it to you. It's a very short one. It's dated yesterday, the 12th of September, and the heading is Gold Vault Market Product Services Temporarily Halted. Following the notice from the Securities and Exchange Commission of Ghana, issued on the 7th day of September 2018, the management of Menzgold Ghana Limited, in its bid to bring some finality to the issues once and for all, has decided to place a temporary halt on all extra value payments and any new business related to our gold vault market. The halt takes effect from Thursday, the 13th of September, and will be in place for 6 days, by which time we believe all pending issues related to the gold vault market product would have been ironed out. We are certain this halt will not go beyond the 19th day of September 2018. The decision, though very unfavorable to us, has been informed by our commitment to the rule of law, absolute respect to state agents, agencies, and total submission to the state. We would, as usual, count on your understanding and cooperation during this period. For any further clarification, please call 0303 976 961 or 020 111 3287. Any inconvenience caused is deeply regretted. Thank you. And it is signed Management of Menzgold. And that is the very latest on that story.
Well, so from that statement, we'll try as much as possible this morning, later on as it is, to also speak to Menzgold or other related experts on the subject as to what could now happen to the customers and how they could have those responses that they need from the company answered. Well, let's look forward to some greater conversation, because on the show also we're talking about, well, how the Cedi is relating to the dollar by way of faring, and whether it's upwardly or downwardly adjusting. But in the market so far, some traders say they've had to pay as much as 5 Ghana cedis, 20 pesos to get $1. It's the highest Cedi that has ever been exchanged against the US dollar. The depreciation of the Cedi against the major currencies is beginning to hit hard, as traders say the situation is currently affecting their businesses. Well, check on the market also indicate a rise in the price of some major commodities. Nancy Fajradosi has been speaking to traders at the Nima market, a major food hub in Accra, and Abuse Okain, spare parts dealers who also are in Accra.
The Cedi is not doing well compared to the dollar. Many importers are feeling the pinch because they need more cedis to buy dollars to do business. But that is not the full story. Our checks at the major food markets in Nima show the Cedi is faring badly against other trading currencies.
The currency is getting worse. The CFA is very expensive and the dollar is now 5 Ghana cedis. We are suffering. Now, the Naira is going for 14 Ghana cedis. Initially, it was 7 cedis. He should deal with the currency.
60, 65. Naira say 40.
Traders who import food from other West African countries say they have been saddled with debt because they need more cedis to buy currencies like CFA before doing business.
You see, a dollar in the crowd, the American money by
Now the dollar is too expensive. It's making it very difficult for us to sell. We are incurring losses. Prices have doubled.
Yes, I'm 7 cities. 8 cities no. They say 13, 14. Dollars no boy dem papa. Several so no boy dem. Enti market is new ho.
The dollar and safer have become very expensive. It has caused low sales. I used to sell 10 bags in a day. It's been 3 weeks and I haven't sold even one.
One day. 3 weeks in the
Spare parts dealers at Aposokai are very concerned about the Cedi depreciation because they largely use dollars to import goods. A gentleman who spoke to JoyNews says his business has stagnated.
Affecting my business, but the whole of this year, man, to me, import even one car, man, to me, import because yes, can you share?
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, after 100 days of his administration, noted it had arrested the Cedi and given the keys to the IGP. Spare parts dealers are asking Bawumia to show them the keys.
What has happened to the promise to arrest the Cedi?
Vice President
Bawumia says he has given the Cedi depreciation key to the IGP. Has the IGP traveled?
Vice IGP where to go? Only Ghana. Dollar is say
Nancy Emefa Dradosi, JoyNews.
And we'll be hearing from the head of financial markets at the Bank of Ghana, Stephen Opata, later on the show on the subject. Effort also be made by the Bank of Ghana to shore up the depreciation of the Cedi.
Now, away from the depreciating Cedi, Board Chairman of the Ghana Audit Service, Professor Edward Ajiman, has described allegations of procurement breach by Auditor General Daniel Domelovo as untrue. Mr. Domelovo petitioned the President, Kofi Annan, claiming the board chair is seeking to take over procurement procedures and is directing staff at the service without due regard to him as the head of the service. But Professor Ajiman is dismissing these claims. He's been speaking to Daniel Daze.
We have had a meeting with him and we have explained that it's never true. At a board meeting, he brought it up. The board members said he has never even mentioned this to us, so it's never true.
So you did not stop any company from submitting a proposal?
No. It never happened.
In the petition, he says you responded and you admitted this action, but he said the chairman admitted to the offense with the excuse that the law did not exist during his tenure of office as Auditor General, and so you did not know that you were not allowed to do this.
No. That he quoted it. He quoted me out of context at the meeting, at the board meeting. I explained to him that that wasn't the case, and that what he was doing was not the right thing. And all the board members said if he had such an issue, he would have brought it to the attention of the board. He never brought this up, so we didn't know what was happening, and therefore there was no truth in that.
You said what he was doing was not the right thing. What was he doing?
Just traveling without telling us, and then insisting that as far as he's concerned, he is not answerable to the board. And we thought that was wrong.
Meanwhile, President Kofi Annan has instructed his secretary to look into the petition by the Auditor General Daniel Domelovo, which accuses the board chair, Professor Edward Ajiman, of interference. Nana Asante Bedietu, the secretary to the president, has also been tasked with reporting the outcome of the discussions between the two public officials.
We'll have to move away from the subject of auditing and accounting and focus on health. The Asante Mampo Nursing and Midwifery Training School is currently experiencing an acute shortage of accommodation for students due to the large number of student intake. Over 1,000 students now reside outside campus, which currently is affecting academic and everyday activities. Well, Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin decided to go there to find out.
This room has only 3 double beds and some chop boxes and baths. It is one of many hostels built just a mile away from the school by private developers. 20-year-old Faustina Apia and her colleagues reside here. This seems like the only option for Faustina and her friends because the college has inadequate accommodation.
You are here to learn. You may try to learn over here, but a friend would not allow you. Someone may be here making noise. You yourself, you will sleep. And those types, everyone also have his or her own character. Someone may be making noise, someone will be able to learn, but for me, I wouldn't be able. You have to manage and go to campus to learn. It's not that comfortable, but you have to manage. Sex in the room and also like using the washroom, but you have to manage for that.
They had to walk to and from these private hostels every night to the college's campus to study. Living outside campus, according to the students, comes with multiple challenges, including security concerns. Some students confirm they have lost personal belongings to burglars. The news team took a walk with few of the students at night.
Okay, so currently these are students coming back from prep. Ideally, prep is supposed to close at 9 o'clock, but because of the situation, the darkness, they are coming back from prep. You can't stay on campus.
We were two walking and a small boy, and we wasn't, and I think the guy may be around the age of 14, yes, and he was like, give us your phone. He was holding a knife. You have nothing to do rather than put your phone down, and then he would take the phone and walk majestically back.
Some time ago, one of our students was attacked on her way coming back to the hostel, and it's so much stressful and those types. It's too risky for us. It's dangerous. We met guys, you are at risk of certain things, so many things. Even not like taking off our phones and those types, our lives are also in danger. So that
you mentioned about snakes and all that. Have you ever seen some?
Yes, I have. I was very frightened, and also we were walking into. So we didn't know what to do. We don't know whether to come back to the hostel or use another route to the campus. So we're just standing, waiting for the snake to bypass, and we're just screaming while standing. Ah, snake! You know how ladies act when they see snakes.
Several other female students have been attacked and their phones and other valuables taken from them. This is the college's hostel. It was built under first president.
Now, a senior United Nations mediation advisor and former Foreign Affairs Minister Emmanuel Bombande is urging civil society groups and religious groups to start speaking against political vigilantism in the country. The former Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister says that the only way political parties can give true meaning to the legacy of Kofi Annan is to discourage vigilante groups and create an atmosphere of peace. Mr. Bombande was amongst hundreds of diplomats, former ambassadors and dignitaries who thronged the Accra International Conference Center to pay their last respects to the former Secretary General, and Maxwell Agbagba has this to report.
Some family members of Kofi Annan from Akwemufie sing after performing some traditional rites to make his journey to eternity smooth. More than 50 members of the Mfantsipim Old Boys Association are also walking to the foyer of the Accra International Conference Center to file past the casket of the former United Nations Secretary General. I've met aspiring flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, Guzi Tano. He left the school in 1973. He says Kofi Annan was a consensus builder.
He was a consensus builder. He was very committed to the UN becoming an important and effective tool in global affairs, especially curbing the excesses of some of the bigger powers.
Outside the auditorium, I've met a senior United Nations mediation advisor, Emmanuel Bombande. He says heads of various religious groups must begin to speak against vigilante groups. He says that is the only way they can contribute towards the preservation of Kofi Annan's legacies.
What he's asking us is that Ghana must be an example and continue to be the beacon of democracy and peace. The contradiction is we cannot do that when we are tolerant of vigilante groups in political parties, when there is rancor, hatred, division in our political competition. Remove intolerance, remove vigilante groups, and respect one another. The voices of our moral society, the leaders of our mosques and churches must begin to talk against vigilante groups and refuse to be tolerant of these groups.
Former boss of the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Emil Short, says Kofi Annan had special conflict resolution skills.
He rose from the ranks of the UN to become the UN Secretary General, and he discharged his leadership with excellence. He had exceptional conflict resolution skills.
Well, this is what we're doing, though. We're continuing the coverage today. It's the last leg, really. Today is a burial. It's going to be a private funeral, a private burial as it is, but he's a man of the world. He's the man of Africa. He's the man of Ghana, a global icon. So we deliberately decided to celebrate him appropriately. Okay.
Indeed. And so that will continue today. We'll go live to the Accra International Conference Center, where we'll bring you sights and sounds of that final leg of his peaceful journey into the beyond. Kofi Annan is celebrated by the whole world today here in Ghana.
Yeah, I love that. Into the beyond. It reminded me of my history lessons, talking about the Egyptian mummies and the kings and queens as they were at the time.
If anybody deserves a pyramid, it's Kofi Annan, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Indeed.
Maybe we can break one of those edifices. We want to build a cathedral, so find some nice...
The Sofo line interchange is crumbling. Let's take some of that.
Find some nice 4-acre land, break some bungalows, and we can do that.
Indeed, yeah.
All right, so we have to get into the groove. We have the latest newspaper headlines. We'll also be looking at what the stories are, front, back pages, and then we'll do myjoyonline.com, appropriately it's our own. But please keep watching us. Facebook, JoyNews on TV. We have our Twitter handle at JoyNews on TV. My Joy Online TV is our channel on YouTube.
Oh, by the way, today we're breaking down the Cedi's devaluation. You know, we all want to understand why it's devalued. And so I went to the Bank of Ghana, the one place where the answer should be, right? And I spoke to their Director of Financial Markets, Mr. Stephen Opata. Very revealing conversation. Stay tuned. You'll find out once and for all the reason why the Cedi has taken a downward turn. And then Norvan will join us. Norvan Akwa-Hayford from Joy Business will join us to break down the effect of it on you and I. Okay? How, in real terms, is the depreciation of the Cedi affecting us? Okay? All right, that's all to come.
Yeah, stay with us.